What if today was the day everything changed for you? Have you ever felt stuck, wondering if you'll ever get the chance to prove yourself? The truth is, the opportunity you're waiting for is right here, right now. This moment holds more power than you realize. It's easy to feel overwhelmed or doubt yourself. But what if the key to success isn't about being perfect or having all the answers? What if it's simply about believing you can do this and acting on that belief? Imagine waking up every day with a clear purpose and the confidence to move forward no matter what stands in your way. This video is about helping you claim that power inside you, break through the fear, and start living like your dreams depend on it, because they do. Watch closely, because what you're about to hear could change how you see yourself forever. Are you ready to believe and act? Let's begin. Number 1, decide to trust yourself no matter what happens. That's not just a good idea. That's where it all begins. That's the line you draw. Because life is not waiting to see if you feel confident enough or ready enough. Life is moving forward. And if you don't decide to believe in yourself, something else will decide for you. The world's opinions will. People's doubts will. The noise around you will. And that's dangerous. You can't hand over the wheel of your life to someone who doesn't know what drives your soul. You see, every person you admire, every person who made something out of nothing, had to start in the same place right at the bottom of self-belief. They had to decide, not wait, not hope, not wish. They had to make a decision, and so do you. You decide to trust yourself when no one else claps for you. You decide to trust yourself when the voices in your head tell you it won't work. You decide to trust yourself even when your past tries to drag you back. That's where real power begins. Not in what you've achieved, but in what you believe you're capable of. Now you might say, but I've failed before. So what? That doesn't mean you can't trust yourself. That just means you tried without all the pieces in place. Failure is not the opposite of trust. It's part of learning how to trust yourself better. Maybe the timing was off. Maybe you didn't have the right tools. Maybe you listened to the wrong people. But that doesn't make you broken. That makes you human. And humans grow. But they only grow if they don't give up on themselves. Think about how easy it is to doubt. It's easy because you've been trained to doubt. You've heard people say you're not ready. You've been judged, compared, criticized. So you started carrying that with you, like a backpack full of bricks. But here's the truth. Those bricks are not yours to carry. The world's opinion of you is not your identity. The only thing that defines you is what you decide to believe about yourself. And if you don't trust yourself, your life will never feel like it's yours. It'll feel like you're living on a leash, always needing someone else to say you're enough. You don't need to wait for permission anymore. You don't need someone else to tell you it's okay to go after what you want. You have everything you need right now to take the next step. Not all the steps, just the next one. And when you trust yourself enough to take that step, things begin to change. You stop chasing validation. You stop needing constant reassurance. You stop running away when things get hard. Instead, you stand tall. You show up. You make choices that match your future, not your fear. This kind of trust doesn't mean you won't feel afraid. It means you won't let fear make your decisions. It means that when fear says, what if you fail? You answer back, then I'll try again. It means when doubt says, who do you think you are? You reply, someone who's willing to find out. This is not arrogance. This is strength. Quiet, steady strength. And it starts when you finally decide to trust your own voice. When you believe in yourself, you stop shrinking. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You stop hiding your ideas. You speak up. You take up space. You make moves because you know your worth doesn't depend on applause. It doesn't depend on how many people agree with you. It depends on how deeply you've chosen to back yourself, no matter what. And yes, there will be days you'll feel uncertain. There will be days you'll question everything. That's part of the process. But don't confuse doubt with weakness. Doubt is just a signal that you're stepping into something new. And that's a good thing. That's growth. That's change. That's life stretching you into the person you're meant to become. But you can't become that person if you keep playing small. You can't become that person if you keep waiting for everything to be perfect. You have to decide that you're worth the effort, worth the fight, worth the time it takes to get better. Nobody else can do that for you. It's your job to believe in you. It's your job to show up when it's hard. It's your job to keep going when no one's watching. That's where the real work happens. That's where character is built. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall short. But those things don't mean you're not worthy. They mean you're trying. They mean you're in the game. You're not on the sidelines criticizing other people. You're in the arena doing the work. And that's something to be proud of. Don't let failure define you. Let your efforts speak louder than your setbacks. And if you've been through pain, real pain, the kind that makes you question everything, then hear this. The fact that you're still standing means you're stronger than you think. You didn't quit. You're still here. That means something. Don't waste that strength by doubting yourself now. Use it. Build on it. Grow from it. Choose to trust yourself, especially when things feel heavy. Especially when the road ahead looks hard. That's when trust matters most. When things are uncertain. When nothing is guaranteed. That's when your belief becomes your anchor. You don't have to have it all figured out. No one does. But you do need to believe you can learn. You can change. You can get better. You can earn your way forward. And every time you take action from that belief, you're building proof. Proof that you can do this. That you're not stuck. That this version of you is not the final version. So don't wait until you feel ready. Decide now. Decide that no matter what comes, discomfort, rejection, setbacks, you will back yourself anyway. You will stay in the game. You will trust that the person you're becoming is worth every bit of work it takes. Because once you trust yourself, no one can take that away. No failure, no opinion, no mistake. Once you decide to believe in yourself, everything begins to change. Not instantly, not easily, but it begins, and that's what matters. So wherever you are right now, whoever you are, whatever you've been through, decide to trust yourself. Decide to move forward, even if the path is unclear. Decide to be the kind of person who shows up for themselves every single day. You can do this. Believe it, act on it, live like it, and don't look back. Number 2, stand up and face the fear right now. Stand up and face the fear right now. Not later, not tomorrow, not when it feels easier. Because fear doesn't leave on its own. It doesn't disappear just because you wait long enough. Fear grows when you hide from it. It feeds on silence. It thrives in your hesitation. And the longer you delay, the louder it gets. If you want your life to move forward, if you want something real to change, you have to face it. You have to stand up now. Not when the timing feels perfect. Not when you feel ready, but now. Most people wait. They wait for fear to shrink before they move. But fear doesn't shrink. You do. The more you avoid it, the smaller your confidence becomes. The smaller your life becomes. You end up building your future around what you're afraid of instead of what you're capable of. And that's a loss. That's a slow kind of pain that settles in and convinces you that maybe this is just the way things are. But that's not the truth. The truth is you're stronger than the fear if you're willing to confront it. Fear doesn't always look like panic. Sometimes it looks like procrastination. Sometimes it shows up as excuses. Sometimes it comes dressed up as perfectionism. You say things like, I'm just not ready yet, or I'm waiting for the right time. But what's really happening is fear is calling the shots. It's running your life from the background. And the only way to take your life back is to turn and face it directly, with your eyes open and your mind made up. What happens when you stand up to fear? You find out what it really is. You find out that the thing you've been avoiding is just discomfort. It's just a feeling. It's not a wall. It's not a prison. It's not some unmovable force. It's just energy. And when you face it, when you move through it, you gain something no one can give you: proof. You start building evidence that you can do hard things, that you can survive discomfort, that you don't have to run from challenge. You won't feel brave at first. That's not how it works. Courage doesn't show up in your body like confidence. It shows up in your actions. You don't wait to feel ready. You move while you still feel unsure. You speak up even when your voice shakes. You step forward even when your legs feel weak. That's courage. It's not flashy. It's not loud. It's simply the decision to act when fear says you shouldn't. There are people living smaller lives than they deserve because they never faced their fear. They never took that risk. They never had that conversation. They never started that project. And now they carry that with them. Regret doesn't come from failing. It comes from knowing you didn't even try. Don't do that to yourself. Don't shrink to keep fear comfortable. It doesn't deserve that kind of respect. You're not the only one who feels fear. We all do. No matter how strong someone looks, no matter how confident they sound, Fear is part of being human, but there's a difference between people who let it lead them and people who lead in spite of it. Be the person who leads. Be the one who decides that fear doesn't get the final say. Fear will tell you that you're not good enough, that you'll embarrass yourself, that you'll lose, that you'll fall flat. But fear never tells you the whole story. It never tells you what you'll gain if you follow through. It doesn't mention the strength you'll discover or the pride you'll feel. It won't remind you how powerful it is to look back and say, I faced it, I did it. You have to find that out on your own, and you only find it when you take action. Stand up right now. That means get honest about what you're avoiding. That means call out the fear by name. Stop hiding it in your mind. Say it, look at it, understand it. Because once you know what you're facing, you can begin to take it apart. Most fear is made of exaggeration. It's not reality. It's a prediction, and it's almost always wrong. You think the worst is going to happen, but most of the time it doesn't. And when it does, you're stronger than you thought. You don't need to face everything all at once. You don't need to fight every fear in one day. You just need to take the next bold step. Maybe it's a phone call. Maybe it's showing up to a meeting. Maybe it's starting something new or ending something that's no longer right for you. Whatever it is, do it now, before the fear finds another reason to hold you back. Because it will. Fear is clever. It'll disguise itself as logic. It'll tell you it's being practical. But what it's really doing is keeping you small. You were not made to live inside your comfort zone. That space might feel safe, but it robs you of growth. It steals your potential. Everything you want is on the other side of discomfort. And that discomfort is temporary. But the strength you gain from it lasts. It shows up in every decision after, every challenge you meet later. When you face fear today, you become stronger tomorrow. And if you failed in the past, if fear got the best of you before, that doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're learning. It means you care enough to try. But don't let the past decide your future. Don't build your life around an old version of you. That person didn't have the tools you have now. That person didn't hear what you're hearing right now. This version of you has a choice. You can stay stuck or you can rise. So stand up, not with force, not with anger, but with clarity, with honesty. Say to yourself, this is not going to rule me anymore. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the fear to go away. Start while it's there. Start while your hands are shaking and your mind is racing. Because the moment you move, you begin to change the story. And that's what matters most. People will doubt you. That's part of the path. But don't join them. Don't become one more voice against yourself. Choose to be the one voice that says, I will do it anyway. Stand up for that voice. Protect it. Feed it. That voice will carry you through more storms than you can imagine. But you have to protect it from fear. This is the truth. Fear doesn't die when you ignore it. It dies when you confront it, when you bring it into the light, when you move through it with your head up and your heart committed. This isn't about being fearless. It's about being honest, about choosing action over avoidance, power over hesitation, growth over comfort. So don't wait. Stand up. Face the fear. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Right now. You have what it takes. You just need to prove it to yourself. And the only way to do that is to face it. One step, one decision, one moment of courage at a time. Keep walking forward. Don't turn back. You're ready. Now act like it. Number 3, speak your dream out loud with full belief. Say it like you mean it. Say it like it's real. Don't keep it buried in the back of your mind where doubt can hide it and fear can twist it. The longer you stay silent about what you truly want, the easier it becomes to convince yourself that it doesn't matter. But it does matter. Your dream matters. And if you don't speak it, no one will know it exists. Not even you. Not really. Too many people keep quiet because they're afraid someone will laugh or judge or ask, who do you think you are? But let me ask you this. What happens if you never say it at all? What happens if your life passes by and the world never hears what you were really here to do? What happens if you keep pushing it down and pretending it's not important? You end up becoming a version of yourself that's easy to manage, but impossible to love. Because deep down, you'll know you traded truth for comfort. And that's not a fair trade. You don't need to explain your dream to everyone. You don't need to defend it, but you do need to speak it with confidence. Even if your voice shakes, even if people look confused, even if they don't get it. That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to be honest about what drives you, what calls you, what lights you up. Because when you say it out loud, it becomes real, not just a thought, not just a wish, a direction, a target, a decision. Speaking your dream is not about arrogance. It's about clarity. When you speak it, you hear it too, and that changes something. You're not hiding from it anymore. You're stepping toward it. You're putting yourself on the line. That's the first step in making anything real. You own it. You commit to it. You make it part of your identity, not something far off in the future, something that starts now. Most people never speak their dream because they're scared. They'll look foolish. But silence has cost people more dreams than failure ever did. The truth is, most of the world is too scared to dream out loud. They'll talk about what they don't want. They'll talk about what they hate. But when it comes to saying what they actually want, they freeze. Because that requires vulnerability. That requires courage. It forces you to admit that you want more and that you're not there yet. And that's hard. But it's also powerful. Because once you say it, you've drawn a line. You've made a commitment. You've told the world and yourself that you're serious. You don't need to wait until you've earned the right to speak your dream. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You just need honesty. What is it that you truly want? Not what you think you're allowed to want. Not what others expect from you. What do you want for your life? What would make you proud to look back one day and say, I went for it? Say that. Say it even if it scares you. Say it especially if it scares you. And say it often. Not just once. Say it when you wake up. Say it when you feel tired. Say it when things don't go your way. That's belief. Belief is not just a moment. It's a habit. You have to keep choosing it over and over again. Especially on the days when you feel like you're getting nowhere. Those are the days when most people stop. But if you keep speaking it, you keep it alive. You stay connected to the reason you started. And that reason will carry you further than any motivation. The people who make it in life are not the ones who wait until everything is perfect. They're the ones who speak their truth before the world agrees with it. They take risks before there's applause. They build when there's no support. They show up again and again because the dream means something to them. And if it means something to you, you owe it your voice. Don't let fear silence the thing that could change your life. You might be thinking, what if I say it and fail? Then fail trying, fail reaching, fail chasing something that matters. That kind of failure builds strength. It sharpens you. It doesn't destroy you. But if you never speak your dream, if you hide it and shrink from it, then you fail without ever knowing what you're capable of. And that's the kind of failure you carry for a lifetime. When you speak your dream, you make it easier for others to do the same. You open the door. You set a new example. You say, this is what it looks like to believe in yourself. And that changes people. Your voice has weight. Your belief creates impact. But it starts with you being willing to say it clearly, boldly, consistently. You don't have to shout it from the rooftops. You just have to stop whispering it in your head like it's something to be ashamed of. Speak it with strength. Speak it with certainty. Say it like it belongs to you, because it does. Don't water it down. Don't shrink it to make others feel comfortable. If it's your dream, let it be as big and as bold as it needs to be. Your future depends on your honesty, and your honesty begins with your voice. Say it out loud. Say it to yourself. Say it to the people who matter. Say it even if they laugh. Say it even if they walk away, because this is your life, not theirs. And your dream was not given to them. It was given to you. Protect it. Own it. Speak it with full belief, not partial, not hesitant, full. That's where real movement begins. When your voice and your heart match your vision, there will be people who don't understand. That's normal. Don't make that your problem. Don't spend your life trying to explain your dream to people who aren't willing to chase their own. The right people will feel your energy. They'll respect your conviction. And even if they don't, you'll know that you never betrayed yourself just to fit in. Speak your dream because it deserves to be heard. It deserves space in the world. If you keep it buried, it dies in silence. If you bring it out into the open, it grows. Slowly at first, but it grows. And with time, it becomes something you can reach, something you can touch, something you can build your life around. Your dream is the most honest part of you. Don't mute it. Don't hide it. Don't wait for someone to come along and speak it for you. That's not going to happen. No one else will fight for your dream like you will. So make the decision. Speak it now. Speak it with belief. Speak it like it's already part of your future. Because if you stay quiet, the world stays the same. But if you speak, you start the process of change, and that changes everything. Number 4, look in the mirror and say you deserve this. Look in the mirror and say you deserve this. Not quietly, not with doubt, but with full conviction. Not as a favor to yourself, but as a declaration of truth. The person staring back at you needs to hear that from you. Not from the world, not from someone else, but from you. You've spent enough time tearing yourself down. You've spent enough days second-guessing your worth, thinking maybe you're not ready, maybe you're not good enough, maybe you don't belong. That has to end, because the truth is, you do deserve it. You deserve to grow. You deserve to succeed. You deserve to be proud of yourself without guilt or hesitation. For too long, people have been trained to stay small, to pretend they're fine with less, to act like wanting more is selfish. It's not. It's honest. And there is nothing wrong with being honest about the fact that you want something better for your life. You don't have to explain your dreams or your standards. You don't have to justify your efforts or your ambition. You just have to own it. And the first step to owning it is looking yourself in the eyes and saying, I deserve this. That might feel awkward the first time. You might feel silly. You might feel resistance. That's normal. That's the voice of your past trying to hold on. That's the leftover noise from the people who didn't believe in you. That's the echo of old mistakes whispering lies. But you don't have to listen to that anymore. You've been through things most people will never understand. You've gotten up after being knocked down more times than you can count. You've kept moving through pain, through fear, through confusion, and that counts for something. That earns you the right to believe in your worth. You don't need to be perfect to deserve a better life. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to decide that where you are right now is not the limit. You deserve to feel proud of your effort. You deserve peace in your mind. You deserve progress, even if it's slow. You deserve to walk into a room without shrinking, without apologizing for being there. You deserve to feel like you belong, not because someone else said so, but because you say so. This world will always offer reasons for you to question yourself. It will give you rules, expectations, comparisons, and limits. But those are just ideas. They are not truth. Truth is what you choose to believe. And if you choose to believe that you're not worthy, that's what you'll live. You'll settle for less. You'll talk yourself out of things before you ever try. But if you choose to believe you deserve more, you'll start walking differently. You'll speak up more. You'll stop asking for permission to grow. You get to decide how you see yourself. No one else has that power unless you hand it to them. So take it back. Stand in front of that mirror and speak with strength. Say it again and again until you believe it. Say it when you wake up. Say it when you feel tired. Say it when doubt creeps in. Because the truth doesn't stop being true just because you forgot it for a while. You've got to remind yourself daily that you're worth it. Not someday. Today. You've put in work. You've shown up even when it was hard. You've stayed silent when you wanted to scream. You've helped others when you were struggling yourself. That means something. That matters. And now it's your time to stop standing in your own way. It's time to recognize that wanting more for your life doesn't make you greedy. It makes you aware. It means you're listening to your potential. That inner voice that says you can do more, be more, live more. It's not your enemy. That voice is trying to wake you up. You deserve a life that matches your effort. You deserve relationships that support your growth, not drain your energy. You deserve to rest without guilt and to rise without fear. You deserve to chase your dreams without asking for permission. And you don't need someone else to validate that before you believe it. You can give yourself that permission. You can give yourself that power. When you look in the mirror, don't just see a face. See the years of surviving. See the sacrifices you made. See the changes you've pushed through. See the resilience you've built. That reflection is not weak. That reflection is not average. It is powerful. It is capable. And it deserves everything you've been working for. But you won't step into that life until you own it, until you believe it, until you speak it. Every person who ever changed their life started by changing the way they saw themselves. They stopped waiting to be chosen. They stopped waiting to be rescued. They stood up and chose themselves. That's what you have to do. Because no one else can say the words you need to hear with the same impact you can. You have to say it, and you have to mean it. Look yourself in the eyes and say it clearly. I deserve this. Say it like your future depends on it, because it does. Every time you speak those words, you lay another brick in the foundation of your belief. And belief is what moves you forward. Belief is what helps you take the next step, even when things are uncertain. Belief gives you permission to rise. You've done enough doubting. You've done enough waiting. You've done enough pretending to be fine with less. This is the moment you start living from your truth. This is the moment you take your voice back, your confidence back, your vision back, and you start by speaking to the one person who matters most, yourself. Don't whisper it. Don't apologize for it. Don't soften it to make others comfortable. Say it with strength. Say it with the fire you've been holding inside. Say it like your next step depends on it. Because when you own your worth, you stop accepting things that don't align with it. You walk different. You act different. You choose different. There's no magic formula. Just you, the mirror, and the decision to believe. The decision to break the pattern of self-doubt. The decision to stop settling for survival when you were born for more than that. It's your time now. You've earned this. You've waited long enough. Say the words and then live them. This is your moment. Don't turn away from it. Look in the mirror and say it straight. I deserve this. Then go prove it. One honest action at a time. Number 5, write down one reason why you won't quit. Write down one reason why you won't quit. Not a list, not 100 vague ideas, just one solid reason. One honest truth that matters to you. One reason that can pull you back up when everything feels heavy. It doesn't have to be big, and it doesn't have to impress anyone. It just has to be yours. The kind of reason that's real enough to remind you who you are when things get hard. That one reason can save your progress when you feel like giving it all up. That one reason can keep you moving when the results are slow and the pain is fast. That one reason can help you remember why you started in the first place. When you write it down, don't just scribble it and forget it. Look at it. Feel it. Let it hit something inside you. The kind of feeling that stops you mid-thought and reminds you, this is not just about comfort, this is about purpose. Because that's what you need when you're tempted to quit. Clarity, not noise, not pressure. Just one sharp reminder that your journey means something. That you're not just going through the motions. That you're not just surviving your days. That you're building something you care about, and you're doing it for a reason that matters. You're going to get tired. That's part of growth. You're going to face doubt. That's part of taking risks. You're going to have moments when quitting looks easier than continuing. But that one reason, if it's honest and strong, can break through all of that. It gives you a way to anchor yourself, not to the idea of never struggling, but to the commitment of not giving up. There's always going to be a moment when things feel like too much. It might come after a failure. It might come after a long stretch with no visible progress. It might come after someone tells you you're not good enough. And in that moment, the only thing that can keep you standing is your reason. It's not motivation. Motivation comes and goes. It's not excitement. That fades fast. It's something deeper. A personal truth, a value you won't let go of, a future you're not willing to lose. That reason might be a person you love. It might be a dream that's burned in you for years. It might be a promise you made to yourself. Whatever it is, make it clear. Put it in front of you, not just in your mind on paper. Make it visible. Don't rely on memory alone, because when you're exhausted, your memory is the first thing to go. When you're discouraged, your perspective shrinks. But if you've written it down, if you've put that reason in black and white, you can return to it. You can reconnect with it. You can use it to stand up again. Writing it down isn't just a task. It's a decision to stop drifting and start owning your journey. A decision to stop reacting and start choosing. It's a way of telling yourself, I'm not here by accident. I'm not doing this because someone told me to. I'm doing this because it matters to me. And when you have that kind of clarity, quitting starts to lose its grip on you. You don't need to be perfect to continue. You don't need to always feel strong, but you do need to keep going. You need to stay in the game long enough for your work to pay off. And the only way to do that is to know why you're doing it. Not 10 reasons. One reason strong enough to carry you through the mess. One reason personal enough to cut through the noise. One reason that won't let you quit when your mind says you've had enough. Every person who's ever reached something great has had moments of wanting to stop. The difference is they had something powerful enough to pull them back in. They had that one reason, that one sentence that said, keep going. It didn't need to be dramatic. It just needed to be true. Something they could feel. Something that mattered more than the comfort of quitting. So take this seriously. Write it down like it's a contract with yourself. Not because someone told you to. Not because it looks good on paper. But because when things fall apart, you're going to need something solid to hold on to. Something that won't disappear when you're in pain. That's what this reason is. It's your anchor, your fuel, your why. You're not going to make it by accident. You're not going to wake up one day and find success sitting at your doorstep. You have to build toward it every day. And you can't build without belief. You can't build without direction. So when your strength runs out, your reason steps in. It becomes the part of you that refuses to let go. Think about what quitting would cost you. Think about the version of you 5 years from now looking back. Will that person be proud you gave up, or will they wish you held on a little longer? Sometimes we quit right before things start to shift, right before the work starts paying off, because the process is quiet, the growth is slow, the rewards come late. But if you quit too early, you'll never know how close you were. Your reason isn't just a statement, it's a standard. It's a line you draw in the sand. It says, I'll rest, but I won't walk away. I'll bend, but I won't break. I'll struggle, but I won't quit. Because there is more waiting for you on the other side of the hard days than you can see right now. But you'll only get there if you keep going. This isn't about forcing yourself through everything with brute strength. This is about reminding yourself why it matters. And that kind of reminder gives you power. It changes your posture. It clears your head. It lifts you out of the fog. All from one sentence, one truth, one reason. So take the time, slow down, think deeply. Don't rush this. Ask yourself, what do I care about so much that quitting is not an option? Write it clearly. Write it like it means something. And then put it where you can see it. Read it every morning. Read it every night. Let it become part of your mindset. Let it shape how you respond to stress. Let it remind you that what you're working toward is worth it. You've come too far to go back now. You've learned too much to pretend you haven't changed. So make the decision now. No more quitting. No more second guessing. No more waiting for the perfect moment. Write it down. Your reason, the one that makes quitting impossible, and then get back to work. Your future is still waiting. Number 6, take one step today, even if you feel doubt. That's the difference between people who grow and people who wait. You don't need to feel completely ready to begin. You don't need to have perfect confidence. You don't even need to be sure of the outcome. You just need to move, because motion, even small motion, builds something inside you that stillness never will. It builds courage. It builds momentum. It builds proof that you can face hard things and keep going anyway. That one step, even in the middle of fear or hesitation, tells your mind a new story, that your actions no longer answer to your emotions, they answer to your decisions. There's a lie that floats around. This idea that you need to feel inspired before you act, that you need to feel certain before you start. But waiting for those feelings is one of the biggest traps there is. Some people wait their whole lives. They keep telling themselves they'll act when the doubt goes away. But the doubt doesn't disappear. It only changes shape. And it grows stronger the longer you sit still. The truth is, confidence doesn't come first. The step comes first. The action creates the confidence, not the other way around. You may feel unsure today. You may feel slow, tired, or distracted. That doesn't disqualify you. It doesn't mean you're not capable. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. And humans who grow do it by moving through that feeling, not by avoiding it. Doubt is not a stop sign. It's a sign that you're outside your comfort zone. And if you're outside your comfort zone, it means you're right where the growth happens. But only if you move. You can think about all the reasons why now isn't the right time. You can list every flaw you think you have. You can imagine every worst-case scenario. Or you can take one real step forward and interrupt the pattern. Because once you take that first step, something shifts. You're no longer a person who's stuck. You're no longer a person who's just thinking about what could be. You're someone who acts, someone who makes things real. And that change in identity is what starts the real transformation. This doesn't mean you have to take a leap so big it scares you into freezing. It means doing one thing that moves the needle. One phone call, one decision, one conversation, one change in your routine, one honest choice to show up for yourself. The step doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to impress anyone. It just has to be done. The mind likes to overthink. It likes to wait for everything to be perfect. But life doesn't reward perfection. It rewards effort. It rewards consistency. It rewards the person who shows up, even when their hands shake, even when their voice trembles, even when their knees feel weak. That person gains strength over time, not because they were fearless, but because they learned that doubt isn't a reason to stop. It's a reason to keep going. Take a moment to ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today that moves me forward? Not 10 things, not everything, just one meaningful step, and then do it. Do it before you talk yourself out of it. Do it before you let that voice in your head fill your mind with reasons to wait. You can quiet that voice, not by arguing with it, but by proving it wrong. And you do that by taking action. There's no magic to this. It's discipline. It's repetition. It's refusing to let your feelings make your choices for you. Some days you'll feel powerful. Other days you won't. But if you only act on the days you feel powerful, you'll never build anything that lasts. You build real progress by moving on the hard days, on the silent days, on the days when no one is watching and no one is cheering you on. Those are the days that shape you the most. So stop waiting to feel good about it. Stop waiting to be fearless. Start being the kind of person who moves in the middle of the mess. Start being the kind of person who shows up anyway. Because over time, that one step becomes a habit. And that habit becomes a rhythm. And that rhythm becomes a life that you're proud of. All because you chose not to wait for certainty. All because you didn't let doubt decide your direction. Even if you fail, that step teaches you more than standing still ever will. You'll learn what doesn't work. You'll learn what to adjust. But most of all, you'll learn that failure is not the enemy. Stagnation is. You're not expected to get everything right. You're just expected to try, to keep building a life that feels honest to you, even if it takes time. Look back for a moment. Think about how many times you felt unsure but kept going. You've already survived things you thought would break you. You've already done hard things without perfect confidence. So you know you can do this. You've done it before. The only question now is, will you do it again today? Will you push through the doubt or let the doubt run your life? Because doubt is loud, but it's not in charge unless you give it permission. You're stronger than you feel. You're more capable than you think. And every day you make the choice to take action anyway. You take back control of your future. You rewrite what you think is possible. You begin to see that your goals are not just dreams, they're decisions. And those decisions need to be backed up by movement. You don't need a full plan right now. You don't need to see the whole path. You just need to move one step forward. That's it. One small action backed by belief. Not because the fear is gone, but because your vision matters more than your fear. That's where you take your power back. That's where you prove to yourself that you're not driven by doubt. You're driven by purpose. Whatever you're facing today, no matter how unclear things feel, remind yourself that progress is always a choice. And you have that choice right now. Don't let it pass. Don't wait for things to get easier. Choose to rise. Choose to take that step. Choose to move even with the weight of uncertainty on your shoulders. You don't have to finish everything today. You don't need to fix your whole life in one moment. You just need to do something that moves you forward. That one step is everything. It's a line in the sand. It's a message to yourself that you're no longer stuck. You're no longer waiting. You're creating your path, even if you have to build it while walking. And if you take that step today, even with all the doubt still present, you've already won. You've already changed your story. You've already stepped out of fear and into courage. And courage, not certainty, is what carries people to the life they want. So get up, choose your next move, and take it. Number 7, break your limits by doing what scares you. That's how you get stronger. Not by waiting for courage, but by facing the very thing that makes your chest tighten and your heart race. The truth is, limits don't live out in the world. They live inside your mind. They're built by fear, by hesitation, by stories you've told yourself for too long. And the only way to destroy those stories is to step directly into what makes you uncomfortable. You don't expand your life by playing safe. You grow by choosing the challenge that makes you nervous and doing it anyway. There are things you've avoided. Maybe it's speaking up. Maybe it's changing careers. Maybe it's walking away from something that doesn't serve you. You've pushed those things aside because they seem too big or too uncertain. But deep down, you know those things matter. You know those are the areas where your life will open up. And if you want to grow, if you want to lead a life you're proud of, you've got to stop making decisions based on fear. You have to do the thing that scares you, not because it feels safe, but because it's right. Fear is not a reason to stop. It's a signpost. It's telling you where your breakthrough is. Most people run from fear. They think if something scares them, it must be dangerous or impossible. But fear is just energy. It's your mind's way of alerting you to a moment of importance. You're not afraid of the thing itself. You're afraid of what it might say about you if you fail. That's why it's powerful, because it's personal. And that's exactly why you need to face it. Because what's personal has the most power to transform you. When you avoid fear, your world shrinks. When you face fear, your world expands. You start to realize that fear is not a wall, it's a door. And when you walk through it, you find parts of yourself you didn't know existed, strength you haven't felt before, confidence that doesn't rely on praise, a deeper sense of trust in your ability to handle what comes. But you only get that if you're willing to take the step you've been avoiding. Think back to a time you did something that scared you, not something reckless, something meaningful. Maybe it was a tough conversation. Maybe it was trying something new. You probably didn't feel totally ready. You probably had thoughts telling you to back down, but you did it anyway. And you came out the other side more grounded, more alive, more certain of what you could do. That's the power of courage. It shifts your self-image. It rewrites what you think you're capable of. There's no way around this. Growth will always cost you your comfort. It will always ask you to choose effort over ease. But that's not a punishment. It's a requirement. You don't build muscle by lifting light things forever. You don't build emotional strength by staying in familiar places. The challenge is the tool. The fear is the opportunity. You don't need to eliminate fear. You need to learn how to work with it. You need to stop waiting for it to disappear and start stepping forward with it in your pocket. Every time you say no to fear and yes to action, you take back control of your life. You say, I'm not going to let this emotion run the show. And that one moment of action can shift the entire course of your future. You don't need a full plan. You don't need a safety net. You need one decision, one moment of honesty, one act of courage that proves to yourself you're no longer held hostage by what if. This doesn't mean jumping into danger. It means doing what's uncomfortable but important. It means choosing growth over approval. It means learning to breathe through the nerves and walk forward anyway. Fear doesn't disappear by hiding. It fades through exposure. The more you face it, the smaller it gets. The more you avoid it, the stronger it becomes. So ask yourself today, what's one thing I've been avoiding that could change my life if I faced it? Write it down. Don't overthink it. It's already in your mind. You know what it is. Maybe it's starting the thing you keep putting off. Maybe it's being honest with someone. Maybe it's asking for help. Whatever it is, you owe it to yourself to do it. Not to impress others, not to get applause, but because your freedom is on the other side of that fear. Your confidence, your clarity, your future. It's all on the other side. You don't get stronger by reading about courage. You get stronger by doing the hard thing, by saying, I'm scared, but I'm still going to move. That's real power. That's where transformation begins. Not in the absence of fear, but in the presence of it. When you act anyway. And the beauty is, once you do the thing that scares you, you never go back to being the same person. Your world gets bigger, your beliefs get stronger, and most of all, your self-respect goes up. Because deep down, you know you didn't let fear dictate your actions. You chose to lead yourself. You chose to take your power back. You chose to break your limits. Nobody gets a meaningful life by waiting for things to feel safe. The life you want doesn't live in safety. It lives in growth. And growth will ask you to do what scares you. It will test you. It will stretch you. But it will also reward you with something priceless, inner strength. That strength doesn't fade. That strength becomes your foundation. You carry it into every challenge that comes after. So today, pick the thing that scares you and do it. Don't wait for perfect timing. Don't wait for confidence. You'll never have everything figured out, but you don't need to. You just need to move. You just need to show yourself that you're no longer living by fear's rules. You've got your own rules now. And one of those rules is simple. When something scares you, that's the exact thing you need to face. That's how you break your limits. That's how you build a life that matters. Not by staying small, not by staying quiet, but by walking straight into what you used to avoid and proving to yourself that you're stronger than you thought, because you are, and it's time you showed yourself what that strength looks like in action. Number 8, silence every voice that says you are weak. Silence every voice that says you are weak. Those voices, they don't come out of nowhere. They come from moments you felt small. They come from failure, from embarrassment, from the times you tried and fell short. Maybe they even come from people who didn't see your value and told you wouldn't make it. But you're not here to live by their opinions. You're here to live by your decisions. If you don't shut those voices down, they will keep running your life. They'll hold the steering wheel, and you'll be the passenger in your own story. Every time you hear that voice whisper that you're not enough, that's your moment to fight back. Not with anger, not with rage, but with truth. The truth is, weakness isn't the absence of failure. Weakness is giving up your power to the noise in your head. And you have a choice every single day. You can listen to the lies that keep you stuck, or you can speak the truth that sets you free. You don't need anyone's permission to believe in your strength. You just need the courage to stop agreeing with the lies. That voice in your head isn't real unless you give it power. It's like background noise. You can either turn it down or let it drown you. You don't need to shout over it. You just need to decide that it no longer gets to define who you are. Strength starts with that decision. It starts when you take responsibility for what gets to live in your mind. Because if you let that voice stay, it will keep you in patterns you don't want. You'll talk yourself out of chances. You'll hold yourself back from progress. And you'll never find out what you could have done if you believed in yourself instead. You don't need a perfect past to prove your strength. You just need to remember the times you kept going. You're still here. You've been through things that would have crushed someone else. You've had pain, you've had doubt, you've had moments where you thought it was over, and yet you woke up. You're still breathing. That's not weakness. That's survival. That's fight. That's proof. But if you let that inner voice keep lying to you, you'll forget everything you've already overcome. It's time to take your power back. No more agreeing with every thought that comes through your mind. Thoughts are not commands. They're not facts, and they're not your identity. You can watch them come and go without giving them control. You can interrupt them. You can challenge them. And when they say you're weak, you can say no. You can say, I've come too far to believe that now. You can say, I've earned my strength through hard nights and tough days and moments no one saw but me. And you can say, I choose not to shrink for anyone or anything anymore. You don't become strong by pretending everything is easy. You become strong by facing things that are hard and choosing to rise anyway. And every time you rise, even if it's shaky, even if it's slow, you are silencing that voice that said you couldn't. That's how strength is built, not in the spotlight, but in the quiet, private decision to keep showing up when the voice says stop. That voice will never fully go away, but the volume will drop every time you prove it wrong. You've got to start treating your mind like it matters, because it does. What you repeat in your head becomes your life. So if you've been carrying around thoughts that keep telling you you're not good enough, you've got to let them go. You've got to replace them with something better, something truer, something that pushes you forward instead of pulling you down. You don't owe loyalty to beliefs that hurt you. You owe yourself the truth. And the truth is, you have strength in you that you haven't even touched yet. Start speaking to yourself like someone who matters. You wouldn't tell a friend they're worthless. You wouldn't tell someone you love that they should quit. So why do it to yourself? If you wouldn't say it to someone you care about, don't say it to the person in the mirror. Start showing up for yourself. Start having your own back. Start talking to yourself like someone who's worth fighting for. Because you are. It's not about being arrogant. It's not about pretending to be something you're not. It's about being honest, being grounded, being aware of the fact that you've been through storms and you're still standing. You've handled disappointments. You've handled heartbreak. You've faced fear. And every time, even when it didn't look pretty, you kept moving. That's not weakness. That's resilience. That's courage. That's strength. So stop waiting for someone to approve of you before you approve of yourself. Take time every day to clean out the thoughts that don't serve you. Be ruthless about it. If a thought tells you that you're not enough, throw it out. If a thought tells you to give up, replace it. You get to be in charge of the story you live by. You get to decide what kind of voice gets to stay in your mind. You're not a victim of your thoughts. You're the gatekeeper. So protect that space like your life depends on it. Because it does. The voices that tell you you're weak don't know your future. They only know your fears. They're built from old pain, old habits, and the opinions of people who don't understand your path. You don't owe them your trust. You don't owe them your energy. You owe yourself the chance to live without those chains. Because once you start believing in your strength, even a little, the game changes. You start walking taller. You start speaking clearer. You start choosing actions that match the belief that you can do more. And you know what happens when you do that? Life starts to reflect it. People start to respond to you differently. Opportunities open up. Doors you didn't think you could walk through start unlocking. But it starts with silencing that voice. Not once, not occasionally, but every single time it shows up. That's how you win. One thought at a time, one decision at a time, one day at a time. You're not going to wake up one day and never hear that voice again, but you will wake up one day and it won't scare you anymore. It won't stop you anymore because you will have trained yourself to lead instead of follow. This is your time to stop backing down. This is your time to stand firm. This is your time to speak to yourself with power. No more waiting. No more second guessing. No more giving energy to thoughts that try to shrink you. You've got too much to give, too much to create, too much to become. You're not weak. You've never been weak. You've only forgotten how strong you are. Now remember and move. Number 9, prove to yourself that effort still wins. Effort is one of the last things you still control when everything else feels uncertain. You may not be the smartest in the room. You may not have the biggest network. You may not come from a background filled with opportunity, but you can choose to try. You can choose to give more when others slow down. That's your advantage. That's your edge. That's what levels the playing field. Because effort is the great separator. Most people stop when it gets uncomfortable. Most people quit the moment things don't go their way. But not you. Not anymore. You're here to prove that effort still works. Not for everyone else, but for you. When you give your best with no shortcuts, no excuses, no waiting around for motivation to strike, you shift your identity. You stop being someone who hopes things change and become someone who creates change. That's where the confidence builds. Not in the outcome, but in the process of knowing you did what you could. Because the world responds to effort. Life starts to pay attention when you show up with consistency. Not every day will be perfect, but every day can be intentional. Every day can carry weight. Every day you can choose to put something into motion. Most people want proof before they try. They want guarantees. They want to know it's going to work before they give their all. But real progress doesn't work that way. You don't wait for belief to come knocking. You earn it. You stack it with action. You show yourself who you are through the grind, through the routine, through the boring and the hard and the quiet. You don't need results on day 1. You need effort. That's what will carry you on day 20, on day 50, on day 100. That's how you separate yourself from people who talk and never do. Effort doesn't always feel exciting. Sometimes it's slow. Sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes you'll wonder if it's even worth it. But it is. Because every moment you give your best, even when no one's watching, you're training yourself for what's next. And here's what most people forget. Effort isn't just about the work. It's about what the work does to you. It makes you stronger. It makes you more disciplined. It builds grit. It makes you reliable in your own eyes. And that matters more than anyone else's praise. Every day you wake up and choose effort over comfort, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. That person doesn't just show up out of nowhere. That version of you is built slowly, intentionally, and with patience. You don't build confidence by thinking about what you want. You build it by pushing forward when it's easier to quit. That's how you prove to yourself that you've still got what it takes. That you're not the same as the person who used to give up too early. That you're not living on talent or luck. You're living on purpose. Effort teaches you to stop chasing perfect. You don't need everything lined up before you begin. You don't need a flawless plan or ideal conditions. What you need is movement. Effort means doing what you can with what you've got today. Not waiting until you feel ready. Not waiting until someone else validates you. But starting now, even if it's messy, even if it's small, even if it's uncomfortable, that first step matters. Then the next. Then the next. And before you know it, you've covered ground that most people never even started. You don't get results by wishing. You get them by choosing. choosing to show up, choosing to stay consistent, choosing to keep going even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because the hard moments are where most people drop off. That's the fork in the road. That's the test. And you get to decide, do you fall back or do you lean forward? You know the answer. If you want to build something real, you've got to stay in the game longer than your excuses. The people who rise aren't always the most gifted. They're the ones who didn't stop. They kept learning. They kept grinding. They kept adapting. And they let their effort compound. That's the key. Small efforts repeated day after day create outcomes no one can argue with. That's what turns invisible progress into visible change. But you've got to stay long enough to let it build. Most people never do. They quit when the work gets tiring. You've got to be the one who stays. You may not see the reward today, but you're investing in yourself every time you don't quit. That effort becomes your story. It becomes your strength. It becomes the reason you walk into a room and carry yourself with quiet power. You know what you've built. You know what you've earned. No one can take that from you. Because you didn't buy your confidence. You built it brick by brick, through daily decisions that no one clapped for, but you did them anyway. That's what matters. You want to feel proud? Then give everything you've got, right now, right here, not tomorrow, not when life gets easier, not when you feel more inspired, but today. Start proving to yourself that you're the kind of person who keeps promises to yourself. You've let yourself down before. That's okay. You're human. But that doesn't mean you have to keep doing it. You can be the one who breaks the cycle. You can be the one who says, this time, I'm finishing what I started. Effort doesn't ask you to be perfect. It just asks you to be present, to show up, to give your best in this moment, not wait for another one. Because every time you bring effort, you build identity. You shape the way you see yourself. And how you see yourself will determine how far you go. If you see yourself as weak, you'll quit early. If you see yourself as capable, you'll find a way. But the only way to shift that belief is to earn it with your actions. And that starts with effort. You've got a choice to make today. You can go through the motions, or you can go all in. You can stay comfortable, or you can push yourself. You can believe the lie that nothing you do matters, or you can believe the truth that your effort will always come back to you. Not always right away. Not always how you expect, but it will return. That's how the world works. You give your best, and over time, life begins to open up in ways you never saw coming. That's not luck. That's proof. So stop asking if it's worth it. Decide that it is. Stop asking if it's working. Keep doing the work. Stop asking if you're enough. Prove that you are. Because every time you put in the effort, you answer the question. You build the belief. You create the result. It's not magic. It's not mystery. It's effort, and it still wins. Always has. Always will. Number 10. Wake up and act like this is your shot. Every morning you have a choice. You can slide back under the covers, hit snooze, and tell yourself it's just another day. Or you can get up and treat today like the moment you've been waiting for. Like this is your shot. Because that's exactly what it is. There is no guarantee of tomorrow. There is no promise that the opportunity you want will still be there next week or next month. What you do right now, this very morning, shapes your entire future. So why waste it? The first step is simple. Open your eyes with a purpose. Feel your heartbeat and recognize this moment as something powerful. It's not just waking up, it's stepping into a chance to change your story. When you act like this is your shot, you treat every task, every conversation, every decision as if it matters. Because it does. The weight you give your actions determines the results you get. When you move through your day half-heartedly, that's what you receive, half-hearted results. But when you bring intensity and focus, the world starts to notice. You must remind yourself that the clock is ticking. The days you waste are days you won't get back. Time does not wait for anyone. Opportunities don't hang around forever. If you wait for the perfect moment, it will pass you by. This is your shot. You don't get unlimited tries. You get what you make of the chances you have. The difference between someone who lives a life of regrets and someone who builds a life of accomplishment is often just the decision to act as if this is it, to take the moment seriously. The idea of this is your shot means embracing responsibility for your future. You cannot rely on luck or wishful thinking. You cannot depend on others to hand you your dreams. You must stand up and claim them yourself. That means showing up early when others sleep in. That means putting in work when others quit. That means focusing on what you can control, not wasting time on what you can't. When you treat every day like your shot, you begin to build habits that push you forward no matter what. Start by setting clear intentions each morning. Decide what you want to achieve today. Make a plan that's realistic but challenging. Then commit to following through without distraction. That level of commitment changes everything. It shifts your mindset from passive to active, from waiting for change to creating change. You are not a bystander in your life. You are the lead actor, the director, the producer, and it all starts with how you greet the day. Feeling nervous or scared about the future is normal, but fear cannot stop you when you realize that every day is a new chance to rewrite your story. Each morning brings a fresh page. You can fill it with excuses or you can fill it with action. That choice is yours. When you act like this is your shot, fear loses its power because you focus on what you want, not what might go wrong. Your energy shifts from worry to determination, from hesitation to confidence. That alone is enough to push you past your limits. You also learn the value of urgency. When you believe this is your shot, you stop procrastinating. You don't waste time scrolling, doubting, or waiting for motivation. You recognize that motivation is unreliable, but action is steady. You move forward, even when you don't feel ready. You don't wait for perfect conditions. You don't wait for permission. You take the shot because waiting guarantees no change. This mindset forces you to face distractions head-on. Life will always try to pull you away with noise, negativity, and comfort. But when you treat every day like it's your shot, you create boundaries. You protect your time. You guard your energy. You focus on what matters most. That clarity helps you avoid traps of comparison, envy, or complaining. Instead, you concentrate on growth and progress. You measure success by what you do, not what others say. Every person who has achieved something great understands this truth. They don't get stuck in regret over missed chances. They don't wish they had started sooner. They simply accept their moment and act with everything they've got. You can see it in their confidence, their drive, their unwillingness to settle for less. That fire comes from knowing that their shot is right here, right now, and they will not waste it. It's important to remember that acting like this is your shot doesn't mean reckless action. It means purposeful action. It means making smart choices with urgency. It means learning from mistakes quickly and adjusting course. It means showing patience when needed, but never losing sight of your goal. The world rewards those who balance courage with wisdom, those who move fast but move forward, those who understand that opportunity favors the prepared. Some days will be harder than others. Some mornings you will wake up tired, doubting, or overwhelmed. But those are the days you must lean into the idea that this is your shot even more. When you push through discomfort and still act, you prove to yourself that your dreams are worth the struggle. You build resilience. You build faith in your own ability. That momentum will carry you far beyond what you thought possible. You also have to accept that acting like this is your shot means owning your failures as much as your successes. It means understanding that mistakes are part of the process, not signs to quit. Every missed opportunity, every setback, every challenge is a lesson if you choose to see it that way. When you wake up and act like it's your shot, you commit to learning and growing no matter what the day brings. That attitude separates winners from those stuck in fear. This mindset changes your relationship with time itself. You start to see time as precious and limited, not endless and free. That makes you treasure each moment, each decision, each interaction. You become more present, more intentional, more aware. You stop living on autopilot. You become the pilot of your own life. That shift is powerful because it takes your dreams from something vague and distant into something real and urgent. You owe it to yourself to treat today like your shot, to honor your potential, to respect your goals, to demand more from your habits and your attitude. This is the way you build a life of meaning and fulfillment. This is how you step into your power and claim your place. This is how you turn your hopes into results. The only question is whether you'll do it, whether you'll get up, put your feet on the floor, and move with purpose. Remember this: no one else will act for you. No one else will take your shot. This is your moment to show what you're made of, to prove that your dreams matter, to stand up and take responsibility for your future. It won't be easy. Nothing worth having ever is. But you have everything you need to succeed inside you. You just have to start. You have to act. You have to believe that today is your shot and live like it. Now is the time to stop waiting and start doing. Now is the time to step out of the shadows of doubt and into the light of action. Now is the time to rise, work, and push until you can look back and say you gave it everything. No more hesitation. No more excuses. Today is your shot. Treat it that way. Because when you do, you'll move mountains. You'll open doors. You'll build a future worth living. You'll prove that belief in yourself is the strongest power you have. And that power starts right now,